everybody. My name is Parry, and I'm the Deputy CEO of the What's Possible Group. We are a marketing services group built for dynamic growth brands, businesses like yourselves. One of the businesses we have is called Connections, and Connections has built a marketplace of brands like you and like Talescom. And we are very pleased and honoured to have Marion here, who's going to be answering my questions, but also any questions that you might have to throw her way. So I will give a very short introduction to Marion, and then we will dive into the questions, because I'm very well aware that everybody wants to listen to her and not myself speaking. So Marion is the Direct Marketing Manager at Talescom. I'm sure you'd have all heard of Talescom. It's a fantastic business on a really exciting growth journey. Marion is part of the performance and acquisition team, and she works in both online and offline channels. So, Marion, before we start, would you like to tell us a little bit about Talescom and the exciting growth journey that you're on?
Sure. So just to start with, hi everyone. Can you all hear me? Cool. So for those who don't know Talescom, it is a DTC that offers tailored dog food subscriptions. So it was created in 2014, and we have grown consistently since launch, thanks to our acquisition skills and high level of customer loyalty. And inserts, which is what we are going to talk about today, inserts channels came into play as part of acquisition in 2018.
Excellent. And you've only been going since 2014 in the UK, but you're already now an international business. Some people might notice the accent.
Correct. So we launched. So I joined Talescom back in January this year. We launched the French market in February 2019, and then Germany last year, just before lockdown. And we also, so that's where we actively acquire customers, and then any other European customers that would wish to subscribe to Talescom can do so, because we've got several websites for each European market.
Excellent, and it's a fantastic quality product and doing really well. Do you want to just explain a little bit about who your core customers are?
Sure. So our core audience are female 25 to 45 years old, obviously dog owners.
Okay, brilliant, excellent. And there is a lot of people that I know who've had lockdown dogs. So I'm assuming you are doing very well off the back of the explosion in people getting lockdown dogs.
Correct. Yes, there was. Yeah, for one, because everyone was at home, and also because e-com habits increased during the first lockdown and all the way through 2021.
Excellent. All right. So just a very quick introduction to what the marketplace is, and then we'll talk to Marion about how Talescom use that marketplace. So essentially what Connections have created is a marketplace much like Airbnb have with travel, where you've got retailers and brands on one side who are communicating with their customers, sending out parcels on a regular basis, and then advertisers on the other side of the marketplace who are essentially paying to access those distributions. So lots of you will be doing this already, but for those of you who don't, it's the usually an envelope of special offers that come with your home delivery. Now, Talescom are brilliant because they use the marketplace in lots of different ways. But where I'd like to start is really talking about Talescom as an advertiser. So you use the marketplace to acquire new customers. Would you mind just telling us a little bit about that, please, Marion?
Yeah, sure. So at Talescom, the insert channel is actually part of our marketing mix to reach out to and acquire new customers, mainly via product dispatches. By using this channel, we aim at finding and working with top performers that bring volumes at a decent CPA. So these are usually DTC brands, e-com brands in the food, drinks, fashion and beauty categories that offer an audience who is already broken into e-com habits, and in many cases also subscription habits. And lastly, we carry other brands' inserts in our orders as a paid-for service, and we use that money generated from this to reinvest in our own marketing budget.
Okay, so you're putting inserts into other people's parcel dispatch. Would you mind just mentioning some of the brands that you are placing your inserts into?
Sure. So usually we look for any other DTC and subscription brands. Firstly, as they're broken into the consumer behavior that we offer with our product. The vertical that works best for us is mainly food and drink. So that's, for instance, HelloFresh, Beer 52.
Okay. So what you're finding is dog owners who are big fans of e-commerce, big fans of subscription, and big fans of quality product that they want to buy to eat themselves.
Correct.
Also tend to have a great affinity with wanting to do exactly the same for their pets. Excellent.
Correct.
So and do you find that tends to work better than kind of, say, magazine inserts or newspaper inserts, for example?
So we do run some tests from time to time, and depending on either the time of the year or the magazine, some tests are performing pretty well, but overall, having tested a wide range of publishers and titles, e-com brands are working better for us, but we do test a lot of different publishers throughout the year.
Okay. And I guess the experience for the consumer is they've just recently bought something, they're receiving that at home, and your special offer really is a nice surprise for people to get, and has that trust and affinity with a brand that someone's already bought from.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me a bit about the offer that you put on your ads.
So we usually go for anything that's what we call punchy. Usually we go for the best within the marketing mix. We've got various different offers, and we go for the strongest one. So for instance, we do offer testing as well, but usually we go for 1 month free, and then the customer has to pay for delivery, for instance, that kind of offers.
Okay, all right, great. And are you testing different offers, and are you finding some are working better than others?
So far, the tests we have done this year were the best performing offers with the punchier one, the stronger one.
Okay, all right, great. And then aside from offer, what other tips would you give to brands and advertisers looking to recruit customers through this channel?
I would say test a broad range of categories, a wide variety of sectors that have worked for us, for instance, are, as I was saying, food and drinks, clothing, fashion, and some were actually unexpected, for instance, protein products. And then second tip, I'd say, again, as I mentioned, test the offer. What we have seen as well is that investing in premium formats with our inserts generates better response rates and a lower CPA, despite higher production costs. And finally, once the campaign has run, we look at the difference in the customer who's signed up with us from different brands in terms of conversion and customer value, as some customers are just interested in the initial discounts that we offer.
Okay, that's really interesting. There's a few things there that you've mentioned that I'd like to get into. You can probably see from those on screen that I'm not a shopper of protein products. So you're talking about the kind of fitness protein products.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. So again, there's not an obvious alignment there, other than the fact that people are choosing to shop at home on a subscription basis, and it's the right target audience.
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. I'm sure the people watching who are more aligned with bodybuilding and protein than I am, so I'll move swiftly on from that question. You mentioned premium formats. What do you mean by that?
So usually when we started testing the channel, we went with, I believe, an A5 or A6 double-sided 4-color insert. And then we started experimenting with the the weight of the insert, and then now we are working with what we call gold foiling. So you basically still have the same size, however the specs are a bit more high-end, and there is a gold foil that's applied post-prod onto the insert, and it's a bit shinier. It catches the eye whenever it's in a dispatch.
I mean, I think that's really interesting, and it's absolutely something we've seen with other brands as well. Is if you are selling a high quality premium product, then actually the printed advertising you use should also be premium and high quality, because it just brings that to life. Even just subconsciously in the brains of the consumer, they're feeling that quality, and automatically they're thinking, actually, this is a better quality pet food or food product or drinks product than they wouldn't. And it's interesting you're adding the gold foiling there, which is doing exactly that type of thing as well. Just again increasing the perception. And I guess the challenge is to increase the quality without increasing the price too much, and getting that balance so you achieve the right CPA.
Yeah, it's not so much about not increasing the cost so much. It is more expensive. However, because we tend to get more customers from it, then the CPA is lower, and it's basically performing better than a normal A5 double-sided leaflet.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's really interesting, and it's quite interesting for you to start exploring different formats and what they could do, and testing, which obviously you can do with inserts into parcels. So you mentioned a bit about the initial cost per acquisition versus kind of the lifetime value of customers. And are you seeing that certain people you're inserting alongside has a lower CPA but a worse lifetime value, and vice versa?
On this one, I'd say it really depends on the type of brands. Sometimes we work with brands where they will bring a lot of customers. However, so being a subscription business, we also look at the conversion, so loyalty of customers, how long do they stay with us? And we are trying to find a balance between getting volumes in, but we would also be happy having lower volumes from one or several specific brands, but having a higher conversion, because at the end of the day, the number of customers that stay with us at month 2, 3, and so on is what we look at in terms of LTV and customer value.
Okay, interesting. So I've got a couple more questions on this as an acquisition channel. Yep. And then we'll move on to the role Tales play on the other side of the marketplace, which is the retailer side. But I'm just calling that out just in case there's anybody in the chat who wants to fire over any questions related to this as a recruitment channel. Of course, you can ask them at the end, but just to, if you have got any burning questions, now would be a good time to ask them. So I appreciate, Marion, you're not going to share any exact numbers. Give us a feel for the cost per acquisition that you're getting from this channel. Is it a strong performer?
It is. So overall, if we look at the marketing mix that inserts represent along the other channels we've got running in the UK, it is a small part of our acquisition. However, the CPA usually come at the best performing ones, basically.
Okay, all right, brilliant. And I guess then part of the reason we're here today is to attract other brands who might want to take inserts in their parcels, so it can become a bigger part of your mix. Again, what would you be looking for if there's someone watching this? How would they know that they're right for you? What's the type of audience you're looking for from the audience?
So the way we work is usually we start testing a wide variety of brands, knowing our audience, which is again female 25 to 45, and then usually because of the product/service we offer, we tend to go for DTC brands, e-com brands. And what we have seen is that if we work with subscription businesses, usually because there is already a customer habit, it tends to work better for us. However, Sometimes we will test a new publisher or a brand new vertical, and it does work as well. So then we look into why is that? Can we test with a similar brand? And if it doesn't work, is there an affinity specifically between our brand and theirs?
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, hopefully someone's watching this and is keen to reach out. So we talked about at the beginning the connections marketplace being akin to the Airbnb marketplace, in that you've got people renting out their properties or retailers having space to advertise in, and then people using them the other side of the market as well. But there's also, before we move on to the other side, there is a trade element to this as well, isn't there? And would you mind explaining to everybody how you use this marketplace on a trade basis?
Sure. So we have what we call a marketing envelope in our orders, in our boxes. We carry other brands in this, up to 6 in any one envelope, but never competing brands within the same category. And we trade this space with other brands on a like-for-like basis. So for instance, we will carry 10,000 of their inserts into our orders, and they will carry 10,000 inserts in theirs. On this one, we don't pay any media fee, just a brokerage fee to connections. So this offers a cheaper CPA than any paid for media.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Beautifully explained. So, in terms of you mentioned you take this envelope in your home deliveries. Would you mind just explaining a little bit about that customer experience? Because obviously we'll have brands on the call now who are rightly so very protective over the experience their customers get. And the ultimate experience is not the website. The ultimate experience is actually when you receive the product through the post. So can you just talk a little bit about what the consumer, what your customers get when they open their box of dog food?
Sure. So the insert comes in a separate envelope, so it's not intrusive, and they only interact with it if they want to. So it'll be like a perk of the product for those who want it. So in the box, they usually get their order, so tailored dog foods, kibbles, and wet foods, as well as a manual on the stage of the life of their pets. And they've got the envelope. If they want to open it, they can, and then they get different leaflets with usually nice discounts and offers in it.
I love that, because in a physical retail experience, everyone thinks about what happens, and I think with e-commerce, businesses are really starting to wake up to that unboxing experience. And you are not just delivering a high quality product; you're also talking about how you can look after your dog. And people have got a great love for their pets, of course. So you're talking about how to look after them, how to care for them. You're going beyond just the basic product of pet food, I think, which is amazing. Bloom and Wild are another business in the marketplace, and they do exactly the same thing, right? It's not just about opening the flowers, and it's about how you care for them and how you look after them. So I think a lot of businesses are cutting on to that, and I think that's excellent. But also then that experience, that kind of surprise and delight of being given special offers from non-competing but complementary businesses, I think feels like a gift. It feels like my Talescom are actually giving me a gift of where I can go and explore the brands, knowing that they're trusted because they're alongside you, but also knowing that I've got a special offer to trial them. So I think that's super exciting, and I think that's great. How do you select which brands you accept in that envelope?
So we usually work with any brand, non-competing. Obviously, we won't work with similar brands. And then apart from that, if it works for them and if it works for us, then that's absolutely fine. The only thing we look out for is any clash, really.
Okay. All right, great. So yeah, you're not going to take another dog food advertiser.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. So your opportunity to say why you would be a great partner to trade with, or for someone to advertise with. Give us that little snapshot pitch for people watching.
So I'd say that because our core audience is female 25 to 45, for any e-com or DTC brands, usually because they've got this habit of ordering a few times a week or a few times a month, whenever they get an offer or at least a leaflet to introduce a new brand to them or remind them of that brand, because the customer habit is already broken into, usually if there is a discount, monetary discount or percentage off, that's great for our customers. And if they don't like it, again, they don't have to do anything about it.
Okay, brilliant. I mean, I know from advertisers in the marketplace, Talescom is a fantastic place for them to advertise. I think your audience is great. For most advertisers, you're not competitive, which is great, very complimentary, and people keep coming back. So I am sure there'll be people watching who are very keen to be active and work with you. So you're an advertiser, you do trades, you also accept paid for advertising. Again, acknowledging you're not going to give me pounds and pence or euros. How significant is the revenue that you make from this activity?
So let's say that it generates more than what we spend. So alongside the new customers that we get out of this, it brings us some additional marketing revenue.
Okay, so essentially you can use the money that you generate from advertisers using you and then use that elsewhere. So essentially, if you tie all that up, you're actually it's almost like a CPA of zero cost because you're not spending anything.
Not quite, but yeah, we do get revenue out of it.
Okay, all right, brilliant. So I know that the connections team have placed over 90 different brands with you, so 90 different types of special offer in your parcels. But there are loads of brands out there who you haven't worked with. So who would you love to work with in future?
I'd say we are always on the lookout for family brands and brands with customers in the 25-45 age bracket. So we're always interested in testing new brands, new titles, and learning. As I was explaining earlier, for instance, the protein products, we tested it because it had that e-com / food element, and we thought it could work, but we wanted to test it, and that was a great surprise for us. So really, anything to test anyway, test and learn. We test a lot. A/B testing is part of our strategy.
Okay, fantastic. So I've got one or two questions left. So again, if there's anybody who wants to fire a question into the chat for Marion, please do. We've got a couple of minutes left. Whilst people are thinking up their question, my last question on here is if people are watching this are interested in exploring using the marketplace, either for customer acquisition, to create that surprise and delight, or to generate new revenue, where would you advise this start?
I'd say, again, start with a broad range of established e-com DTC brands. So brands like HelloFresh, Beer 52, Bloom and Wild, and Talescom.
Well done for not saying yourself first, but absolutely, I think that's a great bunch of brands you've mentioned there, because all four you've mentioned, none of you four are competitive. You're all on a really exciting growth journey, and you're all have a real good crossover of customer type. And I guess that's the point of the marketplace. I've been told there are some questions in the Q&A section, which basically means myself reading the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to use the system properly, so I apologise. So Ian had a question around protein products and their inserts, and can you repeat? So I think the point you were making was, Marion, about you put your adverts into, I guess, people like My Protein, for example, and you've received a really good response from that. Correct.
So I think what I wanted to say was, initially, the idea of testing, so inserting our leaflets into their dispatches, wasn't necessarily the top brand we had in mind because we were not sure about it. We hadn't tested it. And we thought that maybe customers who are into protein shakes are a bit younger than our audience and they might not have a dog. But it was actually a great surprise. I don't know if that answers Ian's question.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Ian's been great because he's asked us a couple of questions. So thank you, Ian. It definitely answers the question. Ian's second question, which I guess probably isn't for you, Marion, is that Ian perceives that Tales.com customer is younger one than many potential businesses are here at the conference. And wonder whether there are other opportunities in the marketplace. And I mean, I guess I can answer that question, Ian. In that, what Connections are doing is creating a marketplace with a variety of different audiences inside. So you've got brands in there targeting females, brands targeting males, brands targeting both. You've got brands right at that kind of younger end of early 20s customer, fast fashion, for example, all the way up to brands who serve the 65, 70 plus audience. So there's a guy called John Warner who's hopefully floating around the conference, who is the group sales director of Connections and the marketplace. I would be surprised if there was any audience that somebody watching this is trying to target that isn't served in the marketplace. And of course, these merge into each other as well. So yes, so Ian, thank you for your questions. Absolutely. If Tales.com isn't the right audience for you, we can find an alternative brand who would be the right audience for you to partner with. Skyella, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, has asked, what role do inserts play in your strategy to retain customers? And I guess that lends itself to that surprise and delight that people get when they receive the envelope. But also, I guess the second part to that is are you offering any upsell within your parcels as you're sending them out as well?
So this is something we haven't tested just yet. We are thinking about it, but in terms of retaining customers, initially because the product we offer is a subscription, we hope that people are gonna, well, people's dogs are gonna test the product, love it, see the benefits in their dog's health, and then stay with us. In terms of how we retain them, usually whenever we test a new brand, we look at how many customers we get from it. Is that enough compared to our forecast? What was the CPA that came out of it? And then we have to wait for what we call the first point of retention. And only then do we look at, okay, is this customer bringing us revenue or not? And then if not, maybe they still bring a decent amount of customers on a monthly basis, and we might want to include that in our campaign every other month.
Okay, perfect. And I think again, for non-subscription brands, absolutely placing an insert. So if you're an e-commerce business, placing an insert in there that encourages customers who've just bought from you to go back, maybe with another discount, is possibly the most profitable thing non-subscription e-commerce businesses can do.